Hey everybody, so I know I've made other videos about this in the past, or I've taken like other times to talk about this, but I kind of wanted to make like an official video here where not only do I talk about who do I, like pretty much like where I officially talk about who do I think should be let go from the upcoming after movie sequel. And of course, I'm always going to say Jenny Gage. A lot of the issues kind of stem from her. Because again, when you read that article that was written about the making of the film, it really does seem like they really are putting a lot of this on her. A lot of the issues that people had, but there are two other names that I kind of wanted to talk about for a little bit that I feel like have sort of been forgotten about, that have sort of been given a pass, and that of course are two producers. They also played characters in the films, and that is Swen Temmel, who plays Jace, and Meadow Williams, who plays Professor Soto. I know that, yeah, I feel like they should be let go too. Because there are three sequences in the movie that only feel like they are there because they are producers. That they are only in those sequences because they are producers. And for Jace, we're going to start with Swen Temmel because he leads 2-1 in terms of the sequences. The first sequence I want to talk about is the tattoo sequence, the tattoo shop sequence. Now, that could have been a scene that set up the friendship between Tessa and Steph. Now, that scene also included him for some random reason, and even when you sit there and listen to the dialogue, it really sounds like he has no reason to be there, because he doesn't really even contribute into the dialogue back and forth. Again, leading me to believe that this scene could have been shot in any other, pretty much put in any other setting, taking him out completely, and you could have just had this dialogue between these two women. Because his dialogue in the scene basically consisted of, watch it, that's messed up, and don't move. Those were his, like, or grunt or something. I mean, I think, like, but that was his extent of the sequence. Like, he really had no reason to contribute to that scene. And also, for some random reason, they decided to set that scene while Steph is getting a tattoo on her ass. So there's a whole other issue with that. But again, like, why is that scene in the movie? Like, why did you have to set it there? Why did you have to include him? Because, and again, it keeps coming back to me. Because he's a producer. Because he's a producer and he wanted more screen time. Screen time that got taken away from, again, setting up this female friendship, setting up this friendship so that when it's revealed at the end of the movie that Steph is involved or knew about this whole bet, dare, whatever they changed it to, this whole big reveal at the end, then that could have been more of a gut punch. That scene, I mean, there was no reason for that scene to be set in a tattoo shop and less of a reason for Jace or Swen Temmel to be there. Another sequence that I pretty much mentioned as like a scene that, you know, really had no business being in the movie, and again is only there because he's a producer, is the scene in front of the video rama where, okay, let me back up for a minute. Okay, so right before it's revealed, this whole big bet, dare, whatever, Tessa reads Hardin's text messages. And as she's reading the text messages, right there down at the bottom, all these text messages are from Molly. And right there down at the bottom, it says, meet us at Blind Bob's at 9 p.m. Okay, so Hardin and Tessa kind of get into it with a little bit, or not really get into it because they kind of took out all the fights out of this thing, but they kind of go back and forth a little bit. With the scene pretty much ending with Hardin looking her dead in the eyes and saying, do you trust me? And she says, I know they probably say like a little bit more, but like the effect is, do you trust me? And she says, yes, of course. And then he walks out, he slams the door, he's gone. So we pretty much get this, a couple of, I think about a minute or so of Tessa, pretty much pacing the apartment, worried about him, texting him, Hardin, where are you? Where are you? Now, for me, if I'm worried about somebody, but I read their text messages and it said, okay, this person will be at this location at 9 p.m., then I would go to that location at 9 p.m. But of course, She gets a text message from Jace, from Swentemmel, pretty much saying, meet me in front of the video Rama right now, basically. So it's raining, it's pouring, it's storming, whatever. So she gets there, she gets in the car, she questions him, or first he offers her, I'm guessing it was pot or whatever he was smoking. So he offers her that, she says no. She says, like, why are you in Hardin's car? He says, what, can a guy borrow another guy's car? Or can a guy borrow his friend's car? And then she says, like, where's Hardin? And like, so like she's kind of going back and forth, and she's like, where's Hardin? And he says, like, oh, he's over at Blind Bob's. She gets out of the car, she goes. What was the purpose of that scene? Really, other than giving this producer more screen time, what the hell was that scene about? What the hell is that scene doing in a movie? In a movie that already feels freaking short. Way too short as it is. Why are you wasting time with that? Was that scene, okay, hang on. For any of you book people who actually remember, was that scene in the book? Did she go meet Jace before she went over to the restaurant? Because I think if I remember correctly, I think in the book she just said, she just pretty much said what I said, which is like, oh, well, I know Hardin's going to be in this location at this time, so I'll go over, to Blind Bob's. Like, that's what I think that's what I remember from the book. So was that scene even in the book? So yeah, again, a scene that seems only in there to give the producer more screen time. Now, don't think I forgot about Meadow Williams. I'm more angry at Swentemmel, but because again, he kind of beats Meadow Williams like 2-1 in terms of these sequences. But yeah, no. So anyway, at the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, no, pretty much at the end of the movie, so Tessa is in class in literature, her literature course, and Professor Soto asks her to stay behind after class, and she gives her the manila envelope with Hardin's drawing of Tessa and the note, the essay, whatever, that heartfelt essay, the one where let me get this right. After movie, Hardin. Okay, screw it. But anyway, I think you guys know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, I just wasted a lot of your time. But yeah, no, you guys know the thing that I'm talking about. So anyway, that scene happens, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, hang on. You're a professor. So if I was a professor, the next words out of my mouth were, after I said, oh, by the way, this is more for you than for me, the next words out of my mouth would be, oh, and by the way, tell Mr. Scott he failed the course. That literally would be my next sentence to her. But again, a scene that felt like it was in there because she's a producer. That anybody could have given Tessa that manila envelope. That there was not even like a setup there where that would even make sense. Like to even because I mean, you could have had Landon give her that letter. You could have had Landon give her that manila envelope. You could have had like a random passerby, like somebody like from the frat house give it to her. You could have had like any random person off the street give it to her. Hardin could have used a messenger service. All I'm saying is you did not need Professor Soto to give that letter to her. Or that little that essay to her, the folder, damn it, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, all these scenes could have been taken out or switched around to where you could have spent that time more on character development. You could have spent that time more building up these other characters. Like I said, with the sequence between Tessa, Steph, and Jace in the tattoo shop, you could have actually spent that time setting that sequence just between Tessa and Steph. You could have just set that scene, pretty much building up that friendship. So then it's like more of a gut punch in the end when it's revealed that, oh, by the way, Steph was also aware of what the hell has been happening. There could have been like a gut punch there because even Tessa, she's in tears, and like she even kind of looks over at Steph during that sequence when during like the big reveal and says like, "Is that true?" I mean, she's like in tears at that point. And again, like that could have been more of a gut punch if you spent that time building up that friendship. If you could have had like a couple more scenes with the two of them. But again, of course, you got to take that time to, include the producers in more sequences for some fucking reason. Another scene that just got me is that there's a sequence in the movie. No, I actually love this sequence. And again, I saw this movie 10 times in the theaters. And this sequence always brought the house down. This sequence always brought the house down, no matter how many times I saw it. This got the biggest laugh out of the entire movie. It's when Tessa and Landon meet up outside of the when they meet for the first time, and they have like this cute little thing, like after the TA unlocks the door and opens it, they have like this cute little thing where they kind of like run into each other, trying to be like the first one in the door, and then they kind of have like this like little cute, this little amazing back and forth with like, no, you go, and then he just finally says, oh, I insist, you go, and she was like, okay. And that brought the house down every single time, and I just sat there for the rest of the movie going, where is that Tessa? Like, it felt like that she had that personality only for that one little moment, which leads me to believe that was a Josephine Langford improvisation. That was not in the script, that the script probably just said Tessa says, okay, or Tessa, okay. Like, that's probably all that the script said. And then she improvised the little okay, like the more personality of saying okay, like that more giddy, like that little like whatever she does. But again, one of the relationships that I love in the books is that friendship between Landon and Tessa. And again, you could have spent more time with because again, when I talk about that manila folder, you could have had Landon give it to her. I mean, you could have had that set up. And so of course, because we always, in my version of this, we always would have had the scene between Tessa and Steph in the tattoo shop. Not set in the tattoo shop, but set somewhere else and without Jace. Okay, so that scene always, that little bit of dialogue always would have been in the movie. But the scene that, like take the scene in the car. The scene in the car outside the video rama between Tessa and Jace. That scene would have been cut in my version. And you know what would have been in place of it? Either another scene setting up this friendship between Tessa and Landon. Another scene pretty much kind of, expanding, pretty much building this relationship between Tessa and Hardin. A scene, pretty much building up. Or, better yet, the unreleased scene. The scene that was tacked on at the end of Pia Mia's Bitter Love music video. That scene could have taken the place of the car sequence. Because in that sequence, and again, I've seen this from the fans, some fans still hate that scene. So again, at this point, it's like, what do you want? But anyway, that scene does so much to set up so many things that I feel like you could have made so many people happy with the inclusion of that unreleased sequence, where in that sequence you saw the setup of the Tessa Zed relationship. You saw the setup of the Tessa versus Hardin, or I'm sorry, the Zed versus Hardin fight. You saw the more controlling, possessive side of Hardin. Or, I mean, the more controlling, possessive side of him. Again, the scene proving what I've been saying all along, that there was a special, meeting ground, like a middle ground that you could have done where you make both sides happy. The people who kind of want to see the book and the people who are like, no, this thing is abusive, this is too terrible, you need to tone this down, what the hell were you thinking in the first place? Like, there was like this special meeting place between the two, but they went too far in the opposite direction. They took out a unreleased scene, or they took out that scene that should have been in the movie and replaced it with more scenes of the producers. So, again, Jenny Gage, Swen Temmel, and Meadow Williams. And you know why I feel like an asshole saying Swen Temmel and Meadow Williams should be let go too? Is because I'm pretty sure there's going to be like some big reveal at some point, or somebody's going to say in the comments that this film only exists because of Swen Temmel and Meadow Williams. Or Meadow Williams, like I'm sure somebody's going to say that, which, by God, you better source that. If you're going to try to pull that on me, you better source. If you're going to try to make me feel like an asshole, you better damn well source that. So yeah, jump down to the comment section below. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for your support. Without you Afternators, this channel would not be growing at the rate that it is. So thank you so much for your continued support. Remember, if you like what you see here, leave a comment. Remember to like. And if you're not already, remember to subscribe. I'll see you later. Afternators. Take care, y'all.